Obi stared in amazement. "I have never seen fruits like these before," he whispered. As he stepped closer, a voice startled him. "Do not touch them." Long ago, in a village surrounded by thick forests and rolling hills, there lived a poor boy named Obi. Obi lived with his widowed mother in a small mud hut at the edge of the village. Life was not easy for them. Every day, Obi woke before sunrise to fetch water, gather firewood, and help his mother find enough food to survive. Although Obi was hard-working, he had one weakness. He was impatient. Whenever he saw wealthy traders passing through the village, wearing fine clothes and carrying bags of gold, he would sigh and say to himself, "Why must I struggle like this? Why can't I become rich quickly?" His mother often warned him, "My son, wealth earned slowly lasts longer than wealth gained in haste." But Obi never listened. One evening, while searching for firewood deep in the forest, Obi wandered farther than he had ever gone before. The trees grew taller, the air became strangely quiet, the sunlight barely reached the ground. Suddenly, he stopped. Before him stood the largest tree he had ever seen. It was a giant Iroko tree. Its trunk was wider than 10 men standing shoulder to shoulder. Its roots spread across the forest floor like giant snakes. But what caught Obi's attention were the fruits. Dozens of beautiful fruits hung from the branches. They shone like pure gold beneath the fading sunlight. Obi stared in amazement. "I have never seen fruits like these before," he whispered. As he stepped closer, a voice startled him. "Do not touch them." Obi turned around and saw an old woman standing beside the tree. Her hair was as white as ash, her eyes sparkled strangely. Though she looked old, there was something powerful about her presence. She pointed at the tree. "These fruits belong to the spirit tree." Obi swallowed nervously. "What makes them special?" The old woman smiled. "Take one fruit and it will provide enough wealth to feed your family for an entire week." Obi's eyes widened. "One fruit?" "Yes," she replied. "But listen carefully. You may take only one fruit each week. Never take more than you need." "And if I do?" The woman's expression became serious. "You will regret it." Obi quickly promised to obey. He picked one fruit and hurried back to the village. The next day he sold the fruit to a traveling merchant. To his surprise, the merchant paid him enough money to feed his family for an entire week. For the first time in years, Obi and his mother ate until they were full. His mother smiled. "God has blessed us." Every week thereafter, Obi returned to the spirit tree. Every week he took only one fruit, and every week his family lived comfortably. Soon they repaired their hut, they bought better clothes, they no longer worried about hunger. Life became easier. But as the months passed, something began to change inside Obi's heart. The comfort he enjoyed slowly turned into greed. One night, while lying awake, he stared at the roof of his hut. His thoughts raced. "Why should I wait an entire week for one fruit? If one fruit brings so much money, imagine what 100 fruits could do. I could become the richest person in the village." The thought excited him. The next evening, Obi carried a large basket into the forest. As he approached the spirit tree, the old woman appeared once again. She looked at the basket and frowned. "Obi," he froze. "Remember my warning." Obi avoided her eyes. I just want a little more." The old woman shook her head. Greed always begins with those words. But Obi ignored her. He rushed to the tree and climbed its massive branches. One by one, he filled his basket with shining golden fruits. Soon the basket overflowed. Laughing with excitement, he climbed down. But the moment his feet touched the ground, something strange happened. The forest became silent, completely silent. No birds sang, no insects buzzed, even the wind stopped blowing. A chill ran through Obi's body. Then he heard a crack. He looked into the basket. One of the fruits had turned black, then another, and another. Within moments, every golden fruit had transformed into a cold black stone. Obi gasped. "No, no, no!" He dropped the basket in fear. Suddenly the ground trembled. The giant spirit tree slowly opened 2 glowing eyes. Its branches twisted and stretched like giant arms. The entire forest seemed to come alive. A deep voice echoed through the darkness. "Those who take more than they need shall carry the weight of their greed." Before Obi could run, the black stones leapt into the basket. The basket rose into the air and attached itself to his back. Immediately its weight crushed him to the ground. Obi screamed. The basket felt heavier than a mountain. He tried to remove it. It would not move. He pulled and tugged. Nothing happened. He tried to run. He could barely take a step. The curse had begun. Day after day, Obi carried the basket. Week after week, it grew heavier. His shoulders became sore. His back ached constantly. Soon he could barely walk. The villagers watched with pity. Some offered help. Others simply shook their heads. "He should have listened," they whispered. Eventually, Obi realized something. No amount of struggling would free him. Only repentance could. One morning, weak and exhausted, he dragged himself back to the spirit tree. When he arrived, he collapsed on his knees. Tears streamed down his face. "I understand now," he cried. "I was greedy. I wanted more than I needed. Please forgive me." The old woman appeared once more. This time her face was gentle. She looked at Obi and asked, "What is the heaviest burden in the world?" Obi lowered his head. "Greed." The woman nodded. "And have you learned your lesson?" "Yes, I have. I would rather live honestly than carry this burden forever." For the first time, the old woman smiled. She reached out and touched the basket. Instantly the stones vanished. The basket disappeared. The crushing weight lifted from Obi's shoulders. He stood up. For the first time in many months, he felt free, lighter than air, happier than he had ever been. From that day forward, Obi changed. He worked honestly. He took only what he needed. He shared with others whenever he could. Years passed. Obi grew into a wise and respected man. People came from neighboring villages to seek his advice, not because he was rich, but because he understood something many people never learn, that greed can make even the richest person miserable, and wisdom can make even a poor person happy. To this day, the elders tell this story to their children, and they always end with the same words. A greedy heart always carries a heavy load. Moral lesson. Greed may promise wealth, but it often creates burdens heavier than poverty. What moral lesson did you learn? Put it in the comment below. And if you enjoyed this African folktale, subscribe for more stories filled with wisdom, mystery, and powerful life lessons from Africa.